Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another Super Series Tuesday. For today, we will be starting a brand new series, and now we will be covering the Mission Impossible franchise. So today, we will be starting with the very first Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible was released in 1996. It was directed by Brian De Palma and stars Tom Cruise, Jon Voight, and Emmanuelle Béart. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. So the story is pretty basic, guys. There's a secret agent, Tom Cruise, who was framed for being a mole, and now he's going to find out who the real mole is. So to start with the positives, Tom Cruise. I know not everyone is the biggest fan of Tom Cruise. I know my parents personally only like Top Gun, and that's it. Other than that, they don't like Tom Cruise. But for me, I really like Tom Cruise. I like him in pretty much everything he's in, even some more of his misfires, like the most recent, The Mummy. But all in all, I really enjoy Tom Cruise. I like him in this movie. He is just smart. He is slick. He is Tom Cruise. He is Tom Cruise running. Who doesn't love seeing Tom Cruise run? Just run. That's all he does is run in his movies. It's hilarious. You ever see those montages where it's just him running and non-stop or running backwards, which is even funnier? But yeah, all in all, guys, Tom Cruise is great in this movie, like he is in this entire franchise. No different in the first one here. And next, guys, is probably the most iconic moment in this entire franchise, one of the most iconic moments in film history, and that is the scene where Tom Cruise is grappling down into the vault. You know, the one where he's going flat down, and let's get through the laser wires, and there's the pressure pads, and he cannot be so loud. Anything that's over a whisper, it'll set off the alarm, and the temperature in the room and everything. Yeah, that scene, guys. Oh, is it intense? Even now, even me watching it a couple of times this movie now, that scene is still intense. It is done so well. It is so well choreographed. I cannot stress that enough. It feels so genuine. And it's honestly a major nail biter. It will, and it has gone down in film history. Fantastic scene, and it's another one that has been mimicked time and time again with the likes of Jurassic Park, The Simpsons, and so many other movies, whether it's spoof movies or not. It has been done time and time again. So that right there just shows how iconic this scene is. And next is literally just this movie's iconic status alone, from the theme to the grappling scene to just so many movie moments. This movie has become iconic for that fact. I wouldn't necessarily say it's held up in the ranks of some of the movies I covered, just like the first Jurassic Park, but it definitely has its iconic moments that have thrived since its time of release. Next is something that's in the middle ground. That is that this movie is more spy thriller than it is action oriented. To me, that was a bit of a letdown. Like I said, that's where the Ghost Protocol thing becomes important, is the fact that I went in with probably the most action-oriented movie in this franchise, back to this one where it is a lot more of a spy movie. There's barely any action in this movie at all. So to me, I can't give it a negative. It falls in the middle ground because some people might be going into this movie like me originally, expecting it to be action, like a whole action franchise, but it really isn't. It is like a straight, full-blown spy thriller. So that is something that definitely needs to be addressed. If you haven't watched these movies before, just be mindful of that. And next, again, I was almost putting this in the negatives, but I felt I guess I should just stop and put it into the middle ground. And that is the fact that this is definitely a 90s movie. Now, you could be watching this movie for nostalgia purposes, in which case you love it that it looks like a 90s movie, but it looks, sounds, and feels like a 90s movie, from the camera angles to the soundtrack to some the stunts and the action and just some the scenes in this movie. It is straight, full-blown, out of the 90s. Every single little bit and piece of this movie is straight up a 90s movie. So if you love 90s movies or you're watching this for nostalgia purposes, that's fine. But again, if you're going to this movie fresh, haven't seen it before or not seen it in a while, just know that it is 100% a 90s movie. Now for the negatives, the fact that this is a spy thriller, but it is not one that holds your attention for the whole movie. It is pretty boring at times, sometimes tough to get through. I found myself a couple of times checking my phone, which I try not to do at all in movies, but I just became so bored. I was like, I do not care what's going on right now, there's a lot of boring moments in this movie, and it's not with me with every spy thriller, because there are some spy movies, and even later on, movies in this franchise that keep me just gripped and locked in the entire movie. This movie, however, does not. I got bored a lot, and I just kind of lost my attention a lot of the times in this movie. And next is the fact that, like I said, the plot is very basic, and that is also a negative. I can't let it slide. It's something that even in the 90s you've seen 100 times before, but even more so now you've seen 200 times before. It's something that has been done time and time again. It's, hey, I'm the mole. No, I'm going to find out who the real mole is. I'm going to go undercover. I'm going to break the law, go against my agency. You've seen it time and time again. This is no different. It's pretty basic, and it just kind of plays by the numbers. And lastly is the last chase scene. I was thinking about also putting this in the middle ground because there are times that it actually looks really real, and I don't want to spoil what the chase scene is, but there's times that they do really well on it, and it feels real, and then there's other times that the CGI is so horrid, it's laughable. So like I said, it flips back and forth, but I figured I should put it more so in the negative because for the most part, there's only certain times that it looks realistic, and then a lot of it is just so unbelievable and stretches, reality way too thin, and the CGI looks so choppy that you're not really pulled in at all. All in all though, this is a fun movie. The positives and negatives are pretty evenly weighed. I can't say I wouldn't watch it again, or I would, because like I said, I own it on Blu-ray. I have watched it a few times, so I guess there goes that out the window. If you've seen this movie before and you liked it, you're gonna like it again. If you are starting from the newer movies in the franchise, you go back, you might not like it as much, or if you're just starting fresh, not having seen any of them, this is a good way to start, honestly. It's a good way to kick off a franchise. It's not too in your face, but it is not too boring that you're like, how the hell did this turn into a franchise? So, all in all, it's enjoyable, guys. So guys, with all that being said, I am so excited to kick off this franchise with this movie, and I cannot wait to cover the rest of them. So guys, with all that being said, Mission Impossible is a fun movie. I have already watched it a couple times. I do not doubt that I will watch it a couple more times. And the positives and negatives are pretty even. So with that being said, I'm going to give Mission Impossible a 7 out of 10. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know, what is your favorite knockoff of the original grappling scene? Which one do you think is the most funny? Would you say it's the Simpsons one? Would you say it's the Family Guy one? Or is there another one that's your favorite? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap.